In this lesson, we'll learn how to package all files related to our brochure. Alright, so if your printer or service bureau requires more than just a PDF, maybe they require the actual native InDesign files. They're not only going to need the native InDesign file, they're going to need all the linked image files, the fonts, and other files like that are related to this document. So you need to collect all of these files and assemble them into one package to pass on to them. Maybe you're going to give this file to someone else to open and work with. Well, this person's going to actually need access to the same linked files, the same fonts, the same information you use to build this file. So again, you're going to need to learn how to package all this information into one unit that's ready to be assembled and sent to them. Now, InDesign has a really simple function for doing this. It's right here under the File menu, and it's known as Package. Now, the keyboard shortcut for that is Control-Alt-Shift-P, and that's actually a keyboard shortcut I would probably recommend learning, because if you're going to be packaging a lot of stuff, it's just easier to use that keyboard shortcut. Now, we get the package dialog on our screen here, and you can see here we start off on the Summary tab. Now, the Summary tab, the first thing you're going to notice is probably this yellow exclamation point right here. It's going to tell us we have 11 fonts used, 3 embedded, just information regarding the fonts. Now, links and images. It's saying that there's 12 links found. 0 modified, 0 missing, 0 inaccessible, but the images, it says 0 embedded, and 10 use RGB color space. It's really important to remember, if you're sending your files to print at a commercial printer or service bureau, you're going to need to convert all your linked image files to CMYK. Now, I didn't do that for this course just because RGB is going to look better on your monitor, but if you want to convert those over to CMYK in your own versions of these files, feel free to take them into Photoshop and do that. But let's come in here and take a look at a couple of these other tabs. You're going to see here a list of all the different fonts we've used. Now, you can see just by scrolling down here, there's all of our fonts, and looking through here, it looks like somehow Minion Pro is still in our document, and based on this information, InDesign is going to package that font up as well to send to our service bureau. And there's no reason to do that. We don't think we've used that font anywhere, so I'll show you in just a moment how we can go through and change that. So you can see here our links and images, and we have a summary of each of the linked files here, and you can see under type it says Photoshop RGB. So that's a real good place to look if you're not sure why you're getting a warning. We have a colors and inks section here. We have print settings and external plugins. Now, back on this links and images, if you go and you make changes to these files, convert them to CMYK, this update button right here will actually become available to you, so you can update that link right here from the package menu. Now, there's also a report button down here. You can save a text file as a report here of your package. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and cancel out of this real quick. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that Minion Pro font here. So I'm going to come over to Type. I'm going to choose Find Font. And from this dialog, let's see here. We're going to come down here. We're going to find Minion Pro Regular. And let's come over here and hit the Find First button. And looking in the area behind, it looks like here it's actually one empty space at the end of this paragraph. So maybe there's a hard return there, whatever the case may be. I'm going to go ahead and change that over to Collaborate. Collaborate Thin. And I want to hit Change. Then I want to hit Find First again and see where the next version is. As soon as we get all of the instances of Minion Pro taken care of, it'll actually disappear from this list. So coming over here, it looks like it's actually right here as well. So I believe we used Railway right there, so I'll go ahead and convert that to Railway. And let's go ahead and hit Find First again. It looks like we've got one more instance here we need to convert over to Collaborate. And we'll hit Change. And now notice that the Minion Pro Regular has disappeared from the fonts in our document list here. So that's great. That's exactly what we wanted. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to package this now. So let's go ahead and hit Control-Alt-Shift-P. And you're going to get this package dialog again. So we're going to go ahead and hit this package button right here. And because I haven't saved it since we made those changes, it's going to prompt us to save the publication before continuing. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. And the next screen we're going to get is the printing instructions. Now this is going to be a text file that's included in the package, and you can actually put the file name, contact information, company address, so on and so forth. And this is just information that you can pass on to your printer. Now half the time I'm packaging a file, I'm not packaging it to send to a printer, I'm packaging it just to assemble all the files that I use. So oftentimes I'll go ahead and delete that text file. But let's go ahead and hit continue on this for right now. We're going to get the package publication dialog here. Now there's a lot going on here, so the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is name the folder. So let's just call this Infuse Interiors. And that's going to be the folder that it's going to place all of these packaged files in. Now notice down here there's several boxes. Some of them are checked by default, some of them are unchecked. Naturally the checked ones are by default, so copying fonts is a default setting, copying linked graphics is a default setting, and then update graphic links in package is a default setting, because if the graphic links were not updated in the package, then they would be linked to the old location, and your printer is going to have to go in and relink every single image in your document. So you definitely want to make sure that this one is checked. So we also have an instructions button here. We can actually click that and return to the printing instructions dialog. And let's just go ahead and package this in our project files. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit package here. And it's going to give us a dialog about copying font software. So we need to make sure that we have permission to do this, some legal stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on this. Make sure you read that. And we're going to get this little package dialog. So it's packaging all of the fonts, all of the linked images, all of the linked Illustrator files, anything we've come and placed into our document. It's packaging that up into one nice neat folder. And as soon as this is done, I'll open that up and show that to you here. So looks like it's just completed. Let me go ahead and find that here. We'll just bring that up here. And alright, so here we go. We've got all the project files so far for this course. And then we've got this Infuse Interiors folder down here. Now let's go ahead and double click on that and let's look in here. Now we've got here our InDesign file. We've got our instructions for the printer. And we've got our links folder. So we can look in there and you can see all the linked files for this document. So it's assembled all those Photoshop files into this one folder. And then we've got our document fonts. And you can see here all the fonts that we've used are copied over to this folder. Now, like I said in a previous lesson, I'm not allowed to redistribute these fonts. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and delete these fonts right here, but I'll include a text file with links in it so that you can go out and download those fonts on your own. And feel free to do that, plug them into this folder, and when you open up this file, it should work fine. Now what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and rename this file right here to 14end. And then I'm going to go ahead and take all of the previous InDesign files for this course, and I'm going to go ahead and copy them into this one folder. Since our linked files has a folder right here, I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this information here into that folder, except for this placed content folder. I'll go ahead and make sure those Word files come as well, but I'm not going to include two versions of each of these image files for you to download, because that'll just increase the download time for your project files, and I definitely don't want that. But as far as packaging your files up, once you've run through that package process, you're ready to go. You can take this package folder, you can zip that up, put that on a CD, a jump drive, whatever you need to do with it, and get that over to your service provider if these are the type of files they need. So in this lesson, we have learned how to package the files for our brochure in order to send them over to a printer. Hopefully you've enjoyed this course on creating a trifold brochure here in InDesign. And if you're using InDesign CS5, hopefully you'll find these workflows useful and you'll be able to integrate them into your own workflows and hopefully become more efficient.